Alright guys, for this first Flash tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do about 4 kinds of animations we're just going to use text today, very similar to what we did a few days ago. I'm going to kind of review that. Remember, to start with, you click on File, New, and we're going to keep our background at 1920 by 1280. I'm sorry, that's 1080. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Remember, to change the color of the stage, you just zoom out. It's Control minus. And then click on the little stage button over here and change it to whatever color you want. Today I will pick purple. Okay, to start with, all we're going to do is insert some frames. This is a review from yesterday, or I guess that was Thursday. The first one we're going to do is just a regular old motion text. So I'm just going to type in the word motion. You do not have to type the word motion. If you want to do something a little more creative, and please feel free to pick your own font and whatnot. I just picked this one because it's all caps. Okay, for my motion, I'm just going to move it across the page. So I come down a little bit further and I insert a keyframe, which is, remember, a point in time where I want to make an action happen. So when it gets to this point, I want it to be moved to the other side of the page. So I'm just going to move this to the other side of the page. And then in between, I'm going to add a classic tween. Okay, and I will have that moving across the page. Okay, that's all there is to it. I'm going to label this so I know what it's called. Remember, we're going to be adding lots of layers over time, so we want to know what the different layers are. I'm going to add a new layer by clicking on the new layer button. Insert a few frames, let's say about 40 at a time. The second one I'm going to do is called an alpha fade. This one's a little bit different. For this one, I'm just going to type the word fade. Again, feel free to type in whatever you want for what you want to call it. Works the same. Okay, and for this one, we need to convert it to a symbol. We don't want it to be thought of as text. So I'm going to right-click this, and I'm going to say Convert to Symbol. Okay, I'm just going to call the symbol fade so I know which one it is, and click OK. And once it is a fade, I'm simply going to make this fade in and out. Okay, so I'm going to insert a keyframe here. And I'm going to insert a little keyframe a little bit further down. Okay, and then I'm going to make this fade. The way you make it fade is you click off of it and back on it again. And over here where it says color effect, you will see a style button. Choose alpha. And you will see that you can make this fade in or fade out. I'm going to make mine fade out. So here I have it faded in. Here I have it faded out. Between the two, classic tween. That is an alpha, called an alpha fade. Okay, now I'm going to just get rid of these frames. I didn't mean to put this here, so I'm just going to highlight these frames. Right-click and click Clear Keyframe. Actually, let's just clear the frames. Okay, and there we go. Okay, for the next one, let's go ahead and label that one so we know what it was. That is the fade. For the next one, we're going to add another layer. Insert a few more frames. Insert a keyframe where we want this one to start. This one is going to be called the zoom. Okay, for this one, all we do, we're going to type the word zoom. Let's go ahead and make this text small. Put it kind of in the middle of the page. Okay, insert a keyframe, point in time. Let's do it right down here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a classic tween. And then we're going to just choose on the scale tool, stretch this out, and we have a zoom effect. Okay, the final one I'm going to do, we're going to click on the layer button. Let's go ahead and label 3 again. That was the zoom. The final one I'm going to do is called a blur effect. Just going to insert a few frames. Insert a keyframe where I want something to happen. Let's call this one the blur. Let's make that text pretty big. Okay, for this one, I also have to convert it to a symbol. Right click, convert to symbol. Call this the blur effect. Click OK. Okay, now to make it blur, we just insert a keyframe down here. To find the blur effect, you come down to the bottom down here. Sometimes you have to click off and click back on your subject. you'll see this little tiny button under filters. Click add filter and choose blur. You can make it blur in or out. I'm going to make mine blur in, or blur out, I guess that would be, and I'm going to add a classic tween. So now we have the blur effect. Put them all together. Motion, fade, zoom effect, blur effect. Okay? Your goal is to see if you can get all 4 of these done by the end of the period. When you do, raise your hand. I'll come by and I'll give you a daily grade of 100 if you have all 4 of those accomplished. Good luck. If you need to watch the video again, please feel free to.